Hey everybody, welcome back. Whoa, this is right in my face. Welcome back to another live. I will try to keep this short because I heard a rumor that this guy here is going live right now. So maybe we'll head over there after. So real quick, if you haven't been to these lives that I do, they're kind of short live streams on a beer. It's a beer that I try to pick that is not like super rare, but also not super easy to find. You have to usually go to a bottle shop, or some states you go to like a Total Wine type place to get it. So it's not super easy, but you should be able to find these beers, which is why I picked them. Because if I picked something that was more regional, a lot of people wouldn't ever even be able to try it or find it. All right, so this is called well, it's Westmalle. I already did a live stream on the Westmalle Dubbel, which I actually liked quite a bit. Last Saturday I did the Westmalle Extra, which I probably would not buy again. It wasn't great for me. And so I got these in a 3-pack, so figures might as well get through them. This is the last one, the Westmalle Dubbel. Dubbel. Anyway, this one is a brown ale. This is an interesting one. Let's go over the history real quick. I already talked about the history on this on the last two that I did, so it's a little repetitive. But basically, Westmalle Brewery is located, surprise, surprise, in Belgium. It is located in the Trappist Abbey of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart in Westmalle, Belgium. Founded in 1794 by monks that fled the French Revolution. So it's pretty dang old. They began brewing as a way to sustain their practice and evolved into a major cultural tradition. I'll explain that here in a minute. So fast forward from 1794 to 1836. 1836, the Abbey becomes the official Trappist monastery at that time, and I believe they are the very first official Trappist monastery ever. So that makes them kind of special. The same year, 1836, the monks of Westmalle brewed their first beer. And initially, they brewed it for their own needs. I kind of talked about this last week, that they brewed the extra as their daily low alcohol beer that they'd have with meals and whatnot. And then eventually they released it to the public as well. What else? So the earliest beers from Westmalle were sweet and light. But by 1856, the monks began selling their beer to the public and introduced the first strong brown ale, which is what this is basically, a strong brown ale. And then they would later recognize this particular style of beer as the very first Dubbel. Dubbel? I don't know. Anyway, so this is the first of its kind, the oldest Trappist brewery of its time. So pretty cool. Let's fast forward through this history to 1934. So 1934, Westmalle introduced its groundbreaking Dubbel, which I tried last Saturday. And today, the brewery is known for strict quality control, natural ingredients like whole cone hops, and they also use well water. They have a deep well water that provides really mineral rich brewing water. Samuel Smith, I believe, is another one that comes to mind that is a really great brewery with great beers that uses well water from probably when they first started, is my understanding. It's still running strong. All right, let's jump through the history of the Dubbel. So that's the brewery, Westmalle. Now let's talk about this particular beer. So as I said, this style originates directly from Westmalle. They came up with it. The Abbey created its first strong ale in 1856, which I already said, but and they made it because it was a more nourishing beer for fasting periods during their monastery labor. Major turning point, I'm going to start opening this. Major turning point was in 1926 when the monks refined the recipe by adding Belgian candy sugar, at the time called, there goes the lid, caramelized beet sugar, creating a richer, drier profile, which is pretty typical of Belgians. And then they revised that recipe in 1926, and that remains the foundation of the beer that you see me pouring right now. This is 7% ABV. Trying to get a little bit more head on this thing. There we go. Nice. I'm not going to pour the very last bit because it is bottle conditioned. But look at that head retention. Compared to the one last week, this is fantastic. Beer qua. Who's rubbing it in? Interesting. Very bready. Dark reddish brown. Really good head retention. Gosh, that's like a 3-finger head on there. That's fantastic. Really thick head on there too. Dennis is live. Yeah, I had a feeling. I can't stop him. I'll probably jump in and say hello once I'm done here. Aroma, man, it literally smells like bread, like a not rye bread, like like a brown bread, which makes sense. That's nice. The alcohol you don't really feel on this at 7%. That's pretty good. Yeah, Harold, I haven't gotten your Beer Quad Nation hat or whatever t-shirt, so I can't rep you on my channel yet. All right, last thing here is a couple of fun facts about this. I already said this is the original Dubbel. This is the one that other companies, other people making them, they're going to look to this one and this style to make their own, because this is the litmus test right here. This is a double fermentation, I guess you could call it. It was obviously fermented in the barrels, and then it's also bottle conditioned. I can see yeast in the bottom of this thing, so theoretically you could capture the yeast out of this and use it to make your own beer. I'm in the Beer Quad Nation. Barely. Oh, his name changed. It went to Kreuzenhaus. What else? It is considered the benchmark, like I said. Beer reviewers, historians refer to this beer when they're, trying to give a rating or something of another beer. I don't do ratings on these beers. It's not the point. The point is just to learn about these beers and the history and their breweries, because a lot of these have a really long, deep history. Also, I didn't know this, but this monastery, Westmalle, and I'm sure probably some others, they actually make cheese as well. So they say that this beer pairs really well with the Trappist cheese. So you can go get both products, and it helps, their charitable work and maintaining the what do they call them? Monks? Abbeys? No, the abbey's where they work, right? Anyway, that's pretty good. I would say I like the Tripel the best out of this, like 3 styles that they make. This one would be my second favorite. And then the one that I probably wouldn't get again is the extra. It was just very cidery kind of, there wasn't much to it. Anyway, but I guess that's kind of the point of that one. Monastery, I know, but what are the people that, monks? Is that what you call them? There's another word, I think, for the people that, live there and live that lifestyle. Anyway, I think you could call them monks, but anyway, I was going to say something. Oh, so I talked to Clawhammer Supply, and well, really, all I did was sent them a review. I bought the 20-gallon pot kettle, and I'm going to have to probably clean it. If I have time tonight, I'll do a cleaning on it because it's brand new, and I want to get any kind of machining oil or whatever's on it. I want to clean it before it gets used. But when I bought it, they sent me a thing that said they'd like to know if I have any suggestions or whatever. And so I emailed them back and said, well, it'd be great if you guys could come up with a steam condenser, because I've had to drill a hole in both of your kettles and put an aftermarket steam condenser on it. And they did say that is in the works, that they are planning on doing that. But they felt that putting it in the lid was the best option where I put it. Some people put a steam condenser in the side of the kettle, but my thought on that was if I put it on the side of the kettle, it reduces the amount of volume I can put in the kettle because you can't put it right up against the opening to the steam condenser. So I figured if I put it on the lid, I can still use the entire kettle. Anyway, pacification. I don't know if I'm going to pacify it. I probably will spray some Star San in there. It's stainless steel. I don't know. I don't think I ever pasteurized the one I have now, and it's been fine. So I don't know. I guess I do have some Barkeeper's Friend though, so I could do that. I could scrub it down with Barkeeper's Friend as well. Those both work. But what's I talking about? So I told them I would recommend a steam condenser because they could put that on their website as an additional purchase or whatever. And then I said, I wish they had a CIP ball, which is like a clean in place, right? It's an attachment that you put on the lid, and then the pump it's basically like a dishwasher for your pot. It articulates and it shoots water at a high pressure to get your pot and everything clean. And they responded back basically saying that number one, they just use the sprayer connection that they have on their lid, and they feel like that's good enough. I mentioned that it doesn't get anything. The sprayer doesn't hit a lot of the top half of the kettle, and certainly doesn't hit the lid. And so it's extra scrubbing and stuff to try to get that clean. Anyway, like I'm just doing it tonight. I've got it running right now, and I even tried putting the basket in there with it because I was like, well, I need the basket clean too. It did not. And I'm using OxyClean plus a free and clear dishwasher detergent, which basically makes it the same as PBW. And it's the basket just did not clean. I'm going to put it through the dishwasher like I usually do. What I usually do is put them in the dishwasher with, like I said, I get the 7th generation free and clear tablets and a little bit of bleach, and that's it. I don't use like any kind of scented soap or anything or whatnot, and that usually works really good. But with the 20-gallon pot, I'm not going to be able to do that because that's not going to fit in the dishwasher. So it's going to be interesting trying to get. I think the pot will be okay. It'll be more work to clean, but I won't use it that often. The plan for the 20-gallon pot is to use it for bigger beers. I'm not doing a 240 system, and I'm not making like 10-gallon batches with it. I'm still going to be making it the most 5 gallons, but I can fit a lot more grain. So if I want to make a higher ABV beer, which I have planned coming up, all the grain will fit in there. Currently, what I'd have to do is hold back a lot of water, and then I'd have a very thick mash. And then depending on how well it breaks down, the enzymes start breaking it down. It might thin out enough for me to add, I have to draw off like a gallon or 2 of water. I can add that back, or I just end up having to do like a dirty sparge at the end, and so obviously that affects your overall ability to hit all the numbers. You're not going to extract enough sugar that way, but you can also use star sand. Yeah, I know. So that's what I was saying. Like I might just spray some star sand. I know it's supposed to be higher concentration, but like I said, I never did it with my current pot, and I haven't seen any issue with it. So anyway, I'm also very careful though. I don't usually put anything in my pots that are going to scrape them up. Everything with my brewery is soft sponges. So I think that's and same with fermenters. Yeah, even my I have those all-rounder fermenters that are PET, like plastic. I use the same thing, the OxyClean, and maybe one of those dishwasher tablets that are free and clear. Leave it overnight, and it just comes out squeaky clean. Like there's no need to even take a sponge in there. Anyway, I think that's good enough. We can shut it down and go see how Dennis is doing. He runs a much longer live stream. I'll have another beer for next week. I already have it planned. And then I'm going to try and maybe see if I can get some German beers, because for some reason I've been doing a bunch of Belgians, which is good. But let's see if I can switch it up and try some German ones. Anyway, I'll see you guys next Saturday. Hey, I'm not going to do that, Harold. Although you definitely should sit down if you're doing that. I'll see you guys in a week. And until then, keep on brewing. Maybe.